Hello, welcome to the queue. It is Operation MLEC2. It is US, UK, China, turn number 6. All right, turn number 6, we got to buy some long range stuff. So the US is buying 4 strategic bombers, 1 tactical, there's 5 infantry, there's the free infantry. We'll follow it up with a transport and 2 artillery. And our transports, that's our tech, is advanced transports. On the Japanese turn, they sent a sub and just said it was an auto kill, but U.S. transports defend at 1, so there are no more auto kills for U.S. transports. So I'll roll that before we get going here. For Britain, their 55 is 2 fighters, 2 tanks, 5 infantry, there's the free infantry, artillery, and a destroyer. China, if the battle goes well, we'll be buying 1 infantry, saving $3. And last but not least, let's roll that sub battle, which is over here. This lonely transport off the Caroline Islands. I guess I can take those dice off. That was my reminder. So the submarine is at a 2. Transport is at a 1. No, round 1. Round 2, miss. Round 3, they get it. So it is the same result as an auto kill, but at least I had a shot at taking down that Japanese sub. All right, on to the U.S. turn. As far as combat goes, we've got the 4 fighters going 1-2 at this destroyer. And that's pretty much it, isn't it, over here? Yeah, the rest is just non-com. Oh, no. This destroyer comes from the Hawaiian Islands, 1-2, because now we're going to attack that destroyer, or that submarine, and we're going to send our 2 fighters, 1-2, they'll land on the Carolines. And do I want to send that second destroyer just in case? I guess we could. 1-2, so we'll have 2 destroyers. 2 fighters after that sub. I don't think Japan's going to come out after 2 destroyers. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The rest will be non-com. And let's take a look at this side. There is some combat over here. We've got our transport that has 2 Canadians on it. We'll come into the canal here in the channel in A20. It grabs the U.S. infantry. He walks off into Normandy. It's a walk-off. And we don't expect to hold it. That is a strategic move. So we'll go up to 58. Germany goes down 2. All right, so I'll leave that marker up there. I think that's it over here. It's wrestling non-com. All right, so America doesn't have a lot of rolling to do. We got 2 naval battles here in the Pacific side. So first, we'll do our 4 fighters against the destroyer in the Java Sea. They get a hit, and we get 2 hits. So that glare is really bad. I should step to the side when I roll. So we do lose a fighter. So we'll take a fighter off the carrier, and that is a bummer. We got more coming, though. So let's put that there. All right, so the final rolling battle will be 2 destroyers, 2 fighters against a sub. And let's see, we need a black dice for the sub. We got 2 fighters, and now we need 2 more dice at 2. All right, so we can roll all that together. And we step to the side. Now you can see, oh man, I'm not rolling very good again. No hit from the Japanese, only 1 out of all that. So I didn't really need that second destroyer. But you never know. All right, so they'll land on the Carolines. I guess I'm looking, that was it. That was just a walk-on over there. All right, so let's move some ships. We're going to take our 2 subs from P25, and we're going to come over here to the Caroline Islands. Our battleship, carrier, and transport and it'll carry 2 infantry and an artillery, will all come down here to Queensland. All right. So that's in that zone. All right, up here we're shuffling everything down to the Hawaiian Islands. Carrier, destroyer, 2 subs, transport, 2 infantry, artillery, 2 fighters. I guess they'll land on Hawaii. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's the same distance either way. All right. In Western Australia, our bomber will pick up the 2 infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into Iran. And over here, we've got our fighter in Sudan. We'll step up to Cairo because there's an air base. 1 transport takes 1 artillery and 2 infantry. And it comes over 1, 2, 3 and drops them off in Iran. Seems like we're worried about Iran, but that's not what we're worried about. All right. The other ships, infantry and artillery, load up on the transport, and they come over 1, 2, 3 into 830. They grab this infantry from Algeria, and he steps up into Gibraltar. This mechanized goes 1, 2 into Italian Somaliland. Just for grins. All right, over on this side of the board, we've got a transport which picks up 1 infantry and 2 tanks. 1 tank from Morocco, 1 from Gibraltar. And he comes up here to A19 and drops them off into London because we feel like it. All right, the carrier follows suit into A19. The 2 transports in A21 come down 1, 2, 3 to A29. They've got 2, 4, 5 infantry and 1 tank. They all go into Gibraltar as well. All right, that was it for that. We didn't need that marker. Oh, that was for the tank. Make sure it went north. All right, so I think that's it for the U.S. Yes. All right, so let's grab some stuff on this side of the board. I guess we can put some stands, on these bombers. All right, so 3 bombers. Of course, they all fell off as soon as I did that. And then the tactical will all go over here, and then we'll add some infantry. But we got to stretch. All right, so 2 bombers there, and 1 bomber. That's 3. And the tactical, that's 4. And we need 4 infantry that we had designated for there. That's interesting. I may have made a miscalculation here. All right, so that's 4. I think I have to rail this guy. I mean, I was going to have him come on that bomber, but he'll just have to fly by solo for the next round because he's got to come over here to this side to the United States. I guess he just walks, doesn't rail. All right, so on this side, we're going to place our bomber. And we'll have 2 guys for that. But we need an infantry to haul our 2 artillery because we have to have an infantry. And then the transport goes into A21. And the artillery goes into the United States. That's it. USA will get the same amount plus 2. So they will be at $91 next turn. We went up 2 for... oh, that actually is an objective, I think. So maybe we went up more than 2. Let me look at the objectives real quick. Yep, we're in France. So we get an extra $5. So that'll be 96 next turn. The sad part is nothing I place next turn matters. So, but we're going to add 5 and 2, $7 more to the stack. All right. Well, 2, I guess, is income, and then 5 more in bonus. All right. Looks impressive, but mostly useless. On to Britain. They have some attacks as well. None on this side of the board. We're going to go down here and try and take Sumatra back. We got a transport, artillery from West India, infantry from India, and they come in along with a tactical. 1, 2, and have 3 left. I think that, oh, no, we're going to go into Yunnan and 2 infantry and an artillery. And we're going to try and get the job done there. That will get China back on the board. That's non-com, that's non-com, non-com. All right, I think we're golden here. All right. I was seeing if my U.S. fighters from Western United States could make it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're 1 shy. All right. That was an afterthought. That's it. Let's roll some dice, all right? I don't see any other combat markers. And really, that's, China and Sumatra. All right, so Sumatra, we've got infantry, artillery, tactical. There is nothing to target select there. But there is 2 Japanese infantry. All right. We get 1 hit, so there is now 1 Japanese infantry. Round 2. 1 more hit, no hits. Actually, 2 hits. All right, so that was more stressful than it needed to be. So Japan goes away. Britain will go up 2, and Japan will go down 2. All right. Next battle is for China. We've got 2 2s and then a 1, and there's 1 Japanese infantry. All right. First round, let's get this done. For the only thing that hit was the 1. I could have sent the 1 guy by himself. All right, so that's it for rolling. China is back on the board. So Japan will go down 1, but I'm not going to bother moving China up 1. Although they will collect $1. Okay, so non-coms. We got 1 infantry stepping into Burma. And 2 anti-aircraft guns out of Burma will step back into India. And the 2 tanks will also step back into India. That's an infantry there. Let's just trade him out there for that. All right. Or do I want to step the tanks back? Let's think about that for a second. I'm going to leave them in the ocean and see what things look like when I'm done. All right, so we got 2 infantry railing from Iran up to Stalingrad. The 2 infantry that are in Stalingrad will step up 1 to Tambov and see what that was. All right, the cruiser will slide over 1 into P50. Let's wait on that. We are going to rail 2 artillery out of India. 1, 2. Oh, maybe we're not. I thought they could go to Caucasus. 1, 2, 3. They can't, so we're not doing that. But, however, we'll step those 3 artillery up. That's why I was moving the tanks back. We're going to take 2 tanks and rail out of India. 1, 2, 3 into northern Iran. They have a tank that's there already. He's going to go up 1, 2 into Kazaka. That's a drive. All right, so that means in India, the artillery from West India steps up. The 2 tanks go back. All right. So, oh, this fighter will land back, or not the fighter, that tactical. And, oh, Britain goes, did I go Britain up 2 already? Yeah, I think I did. I just didn't flip my marker. All right, so over on this side, Transjordan steps over to Egypt. The tactical in Egypt will, at an air base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into India. The battleship is repaired. He goes 1, 2, 3 into P-52 from A-53. This guy, he'll step over 1 to Iraq. This guy steps over to Sudan from Equal Africa there, Equatorial. All right, so on this side, we are going to split up our AA guns. There's 4 in London. 2 will go to Scotland. So get rid of that green ship. So 2 will stay. Oh, you know what? I didn't move my U.S. fighter and tactical from Gibraltar. They came up to London, and then the 2 fighters, British fighters from London, will go up to Scotland. And all right, so making a mess. All right, so we have a British destroyer in A-29, comes up 1, 2, 3 into A-11. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't really see anything else marked or we can do. All right, so let's place our destroyer in A-19. In India itself will be 1 infantry, 1 tank, 1 fighter. Is that right? That's 9, 14, infantry 17. All right. That means in Iran, we're going to place 2 infantry. And do we want to place that tank there? I don't think we do, because 1, 2, I don't think it'll be able to rail and won't be able to get there. So let's forget that. All right, so in London goes the rest of this, which will be 2 infantry. Hopefully that's on the screen. As I lean over, I noticed I dipped. 1 artillery, or 1 tank, 1 artillery, 1 fighter, and that's all in London. And then our free infantry will drop him in India, just because I want to. All right. Oh, for crying out loud. All right, I think we're good. China, their only move is to place their infantry in Yunnan, because they're back to life. So that means we saved $3, but we collect 1. So we'll have 4 to spend later. All right, so Britain, they are now at 45. So let's see what they got there. Let's just take the stack away. 35, 45, and then 5 and 6 is 11. So that'll be 60 or 56, right? 45, yeah, and 11 is 56. So what did I say I had there? 45. So we need another 10 spot. 55, 56. And I wish it was the other way around. I wish I could give money to Britain. That probably should be a rule, that on turn 7, U.S. can funnel some of its funds to Britain. Yeah, that's what should happen, right? All right. That's the end of that. Now we've got a very lengthy recap, so you may want to skip this if you're not playing the game. All right, we'll start over here, and I think I'm just going to do everything at once because they're all mixed pretty good here. Washington is 3 infantry, 2 artillery, 1 bomber, A-21 transport, A-29, 2 transports, Gibraltar, 2, 4, 6, 8 infantry, 1 artillery, 1 tank. British, there is an infantry, AA, and a mechanized. Morocco, 2 AA. Italian, Libya, 1 mech. Egypt is 1 U.S. fighter, 3 British infantry. I don't know what that C zone is. A-30 is 1 transport, 2 destroyers, 1 battleship. Up in A-19 is a carrier, 2 transports. 1 of them is loaded with 3 British infantry. We have a cruiser. British, we have a destroyer, 2 transports. Normandy has an infantry. A-20 has a transport. There's a British destroyer in I think 11. Yeah. Scotland has 2 anti-aircraft, 2 fighters. I think just for grins, we'll take this lone infantry and move them up to Scotland. So Scotland is British, 2 fighters, 2 AA infantry. London, the U.S. has 2 tanks infantry, fighter tactical. Britain has a fighter, 2 anti-aircraft guns, 6 infantry, 1 tank, 1 artillery. There is a French fighter as well. Moving on. We already talked about, there's also an infantry in Sudan, infantry in Iraq, 2 infantry in Stalingrad, 2 infantry in Tambov, tank in Kazakh. Northern Iran is 2 tanks. Iran is 2 infantry. P-52 is a battleship transport. P-50 is a cruiser. India is 2 tacticals, 1 fighter, 4 tanks, 2 anti-aircraft guns, 1 artillery, 3 infantry. Burma that's a stack of 12, 16, 17, 18. 18 infantry, 3 artillery, 2 anti-aircraft. Burma's an infantry. Yunnan is 2 infantry, artillery, and a resurgent Chinese infantry. So that's 3 infantry total. P-52 is a transport. There is an infantry artillery on Sumatra. Oh, you know what? We forgot the U.S. forces in Iran. 4 infantry, a tank, a strategic bomber, and a transport in A-54. All right. Queensland, 4 infantry, 2 artillery. At sea, the U.S. has 3 carriers, 3 fighters, 2 battleships, 2 cruisers, 3 destroyers, 2 transports. P-36 is 2 destroyers, 2 submarines. On Caroline Islands is 1 infantry, 2 mechs, 1 anti-aircraft gun, 2 fighters. Hawaiian Islands is 3 infantry, 1 artillery, 2 fighters. P-25 is 2 subs, carrier, destroyer, transport. And last but not least, up in western United States is 3 strategic bombers, 1 tactical, 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry, 2 anti-aircraft guns. All right, that was almost like a fifth of my turn was just reading off what was there. Next up is Italy, as they expand into Russia.